Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay. It's not on mute. How you guys doing? Today is July the 10th. It's 7:14 Central Standard Time and we are going to get started. If you are new here, my name is Sierra, the Wealth Empress, your day trading and credit strategist. And today we are going to talk about the CRT trading strategy. In my opinion, CRT is the easiest strategy to learn and the quickest to pick up. And I realize a lot of people need a strategy so that they can start making money, let's say in 2 weeks, right? Really, if you take notes, you rewatch this video, you test it live, 2 to 3 weeks, you can start trading this strategy, okay? All right. This strategy is called CRT. It was created by Romeo. I don't know his last name. He's one of ICT students. He says he has, I think he actually says he has a 100% win rate. I'm not sure. But CRT stands for Candle Range Theory. Okay. And it's basically the theory of every candle trades 50% back into the previous candle. Okay. So they're saying that this is our current candle and price will come back into 50% of the previous candle. So if I take my rectangle tool, we can go from the high of this candle to the low of that previous candle. 50% is this blue line. It hasn't hit 50% yet, but eventually it may, right? But a lot of times you will get 50%, which will be your TP. Now, if we look at this candle, this would be the previous candle. Take my rectangle tool from the high. If I can get my magnet tool to act right. There we go. From the high to the low. And as you can see, this candle traded back into it 50%. Okay. Then I can go to this candle. Now, clearly, if we zoom in and I look at this candle, right, and it's supposed to trade back into 50% of the previous candle, you can clearly look and see that this one is still inside of this candle, so it can't trade back into it because it never traded outside of it. Okay. So you can use this strategy on a monthly candle, a weekly candle, or a daily candle. I don't suggest you going any lower than the daily time frame. Okay. You can actually use this on NAS, SPX, US 30, and currency pairs. All right. So step one is to come to the time frame that you're going to trade. Okay. It's either going to be, or the time frame of the candle that you want to mark up to trade. Okay. So you're either going to mark up a monthly candle. So we'll start on the monthly time frame. We'll look for last month's candle. Okay. Because it's always the previous candle. So this is our current candle. And you know that this is our current candle because if you look over here, right, you see the dotted line. The dotted line is telling you current price. And then you look here, it's telling you the price that it's on, plus how many days and how many hours until that candle has to close, okay? So this is our current candle. We're going to mark our high, our low, and 50% of our previous candle, okay? So I'm just going to take my horizontal tool. I'm going to take my magnet tool because I want to make sure that I'm marking the high correctly. Okay. And if you use the magnet tool, it just grabs onto either the wick or the body. You see, you just click it there And then if I wanted to mark the wick, I just hover over the wick and it'll snap onto the wick, okay? So I mark the high, I'm gonna mark the low, and then I'm gonna use my rectangle tool. And if your rectangle tool isn't allowing you to put the 50%, so if you could draw it out, double click it. And if your rectangle tool isn't giving you these settings to be able to add the middle line, you can come over here, 1, 2, 3 down on your toolbar. You'll see fib retracement. Click that arrow and come down to GAN box, and you can use your GAN box. So you can do this with your GAN box or your rectangle tool. You'll go from the high of the candle to the low of the candle. All right. Pull it out so you can see it. And then put a horizontal line at your 50% here on the GAN. And then if you use your rectangle, your horizontal line will go right there on the blue line. Okay. So that's all you need on your chart. You need your previous candle's high, your previous candle's low, and 50% of your previous candle. Your TP on this strategy is going to be 50% or a fair value gap that's close to the 50% range. Okay. So step 1, mark your high, your low, 50% of your previous candle. All right. Now we're going to come down to our 15-minute. Okay. Now we just want to wait. It's marked up, and we want to wait for step 2. Step 2 is for price to run liquidity. Okay. So liquidity is technically your last month's high. And in order to know where last month's high is, it's this line right here. Okay. So you just want to wait for price to come outside of this line, whether it's the high or the low. Okay. But it's going to be either or. You're not going to get both. All right. So price came outside of this line. Now we want to wait for price to come back into the zone. Okay. It has to come back into the zone, because sometimes you'll see this. Price will trade outside, price will come to the zone, and then price will trade away. Okay. If price does not come back into the zone, you do not have a trade. Price has to come back underneath this line, or price has to come back above this line. Okay. Now price has ran our high. It came outside of this line. Price has come back into our line. And we want to look over here to our left for a structure point. Okay. So this is my last structure point because this area led me to my last high. Okay. So now I'm looking for this area to be broken. That's called a break of structure. All right. Price came outside of the black line, came back into the black line, broke our structure, traded back into our structure, okay, and then traded away almost to our TP area, okay. But you don't always have to hold it to 50%. Like I said, sometimes you just want to find our nearest fair value gap. And as you can see, I came to my 4-hour. This is my nearest fair value gap. And TP is at 50% of the fair value gap. And as you can see, price hit 50% and your take profit would have been hit, okay? All right, so you do the same thing. That was the monthly. Let's say you want to trade the weekly candle now. Okay. So this is our previous week's candle. You mark your high. Your low. and 50% of last week's candle. All right. Now we'll come down to our 15-minute. Wait a minute. I'm going to put a vertical line here so I can know where we are. All right, we'll come down to our 15-minute. Let's find that current candle. All right. Here's our current candle. I'm going to zoom in real quick. And as you can see on this day, we didn't have a trade, okay? Price, this is the current candle, okay? Price never went above or beneath until it did it over here, okay? So let's find another day. Or another week. Let's do this. We're going to put it on replay. And now we'll go to this week's candle. Okay. So I'm going to mark the high, the low, and 50%. All right, and now I'm going to go down to the 15-minute. Let's delete this though. All right, so I marked this week candle, right? This is before the market even opened and the next week hasn't even started. So this is the candle that we want to trade off of, and we want to trade off of these zones. We have our zones marked up. So now we're going to go to our 15-minute. And we're going to wait for price to either come outside of the high or outside of the low. Okay, so let's play it out. All right, so this is a new week opening gap right here. Okay. Market just opened. See, this is Friday. This is Sunday. Oh, pause it. All right. This is Sunday evening. Price has traded up. It came outside of our zone and it closed back underneath our zone with a bearish movement and a pin bar candle. Now here, I don't have any other structure point because we had this big bullish movement here. My last structure point is down here, okay? My last structure point is down here that led me all the way up to here. But what I do see here is a fair value gap. So I am going to mark this gap up, okay? And I can use this for my pullback, okay? Remember, we was looking for a break of structure and then a pullback. Since I don't have a structure area in here, I do have a fair value gap that I can wait to allow price to close underneath and then come back and retest it, unless price creates us a structure point throughout the week, okay? So we're going to keep letting it play. But right now we have our first confluence. Price came out of this high area. And you see how price is rejecting this area because this is a fair value gap. Fair value gap is a zone, okay? It's just the area to where price will react. It's still Sunday. So technically Sunday, you should just let the market open and do what it's going to do. All right, we're back up to our zone. We're trading outside of our zone. Still Sunday. This is Asia session Sunday. This is the market finishing this impulsive move here. And remember, if it does not come back into our zone, we don't have a trade. Let's move it along a little bit. All right, price is coming back near our high. Okay. And it's now Monday, 5 a.m. And since we're on a weekly candle, you don't change these zones. You use these same zones for the whole week. I'm not talking about a change of character that's too advanced. We're doing beginner basic CRT 1, 2, 3. All right, so we marked up our zones. Our first step has happened. Price has come outside of our zone. It's now Monday afternoon, 12:30, 12:45. All right, the market is about to close Monday, about to be Monday Asia session. So Monday, no trade, guys. This is another thing. This is not a trade every day, okay? What people have to learn is you don't have to take a trade every day to be a profitable trader. Most profitable traders don't take a trade every day. They wait for their setup and then they execute. All right, we're coming back to our zone. Now remember, you don't want to just enter near the zone because like price did here, it came back near the zone, although it didn't touch it, but it rejected and it went higher. Okay, so let's see what price is going to give us. It's now Monday evening, Asia session. We're getting an impulse candle. Price is back into our zone. So this is our second confluence. It came outside of the zone. Now it's back into the zone. Oops. All right. First confluence, price came out the zone. Second confluence, Price came back into the zone. Now here, price came into the zone and it retested the zone. That's a third confluence. Retest, and then price gives you a candlestick price action signal, and we can zoom into these candlesticks here. Okay. Price came in the zone here, retested here. Remember, we're on the 15-minute time frame. So this is a break and retest on the 15-minute, more so as the hour. You'd want to see price come further away and then come back. Okay, so on the 15-minute, this is a valid break and retest. Okay, break and retest. And then we got a bearish engulfing here. This candle runs this candle's high and low. Okay, not only is it a bearish engulfing, the bulls tried to come in, and then the bears came in and closed back underneath this zone. Okay, and then these three candles here, 1, 2, 3, that is an evening star candlestick pattern, a bullish candle, a doji, a bearish candle. So now this is giving us all types of signs to get in. Not only that, 1, 2, 3 sell candles. I cannot tell you the name of those 3 sell candles. Let me get it real quick. 3 sell candles. It's like white horseman or something. And if I could spell the name. 3 black crows. This pattern consists of 3 consecutive long red bearish candlesticks, each opening within the body of the previous candle and closing lower than the previous one. Okay, 3 black crows. And then the opposite, when you see 3 bullish candles, is 3 white soldiers, composed of 3 consecutive long bullish candles with small or no wicks. Okay, and when you see candles like this with small or no wicks, okay, that's letting you know. Well, let's do this one because it's this one. That's letting you know that the market makers have put a lot of money into the market. Candles like this right here. See, it's barely any wick. Okay, but a candle like this with a long tail at the top, that was letting you know that the buyers tried to take over and now the sellers have come in and take over. Okay, so we got a break and retest. Okay, we got evening star, and we have a bullish engulfing, and we have what is it, 3 crows? I just said it. 3 consecutive selling candles. Okay, this is letting us know that we can go ahead and sell. Now, I said that TP is 50% of that monthly, weekly, or daily candle, whichever candle that you're using, or you can find a fair value gap that's near the 50%. So here's my 50%, and I have this big fair value gap here. And if I look to the left here on this fair value gap, we have some rejection over here. So that means that price is probably going to hesitate in this area before hitting this area. So if I want a smooth TP and I just want the market to take me out, I'm just going to take profit here versus here. Okay. I think I can do a sell. All right, so I've entered the sell, And I'm going to place my stop loss above my last structure point, and that would be here with my retest, or I can pull it up just a little bit higher if I feel like I need a little bit more room for price to trade. So I'm going to pull it here, and then TP is here. All right. And we'll put our short tool on just to measure our risk to reward. And if you look here, it says risk to reward ratio. It's 2.49. Remember, we want to take 2 to 1s or more, okay? All right, so we're going to press play and see if this plays out. All right, and remember I had this mark, this fair value gap right here. If you see hesitation to the left, 9 times out of 10 during current price, it's going to give you some hesitation too, okay? Because the market just repeats itself. All right, and it's Tuesday now, okay? All right, and it looks like the market is hesitating to break this area here. Now we was in profit. Now it looks like price is trying to turn around and stop us out. I personally, I'm a stop loss or TP type of person, but as you can see, we were up 54 pips, okay? So you could have grabbed those 54 pips or trailed your stop loss into profit, or you could be like me, and if stop loss gets hit, stop loss just gets hit, because we know we'll recover it with the next trade. All right. But we're still in a trade. Stop loss up. It just took us out. All right. All right. So stop loss took us out. It's now Tuesday Asia session. Okay. And it looks like, let's see what it's going to do. It's Wednesday midnight. We can still use these same zones until Friday. Now, once price comes back outside of this area, then the trade idea is no longer valid, okay? It's Wednesday London session, and I wouldn't be up for London session, so I'd miss all of this falling here, okay? It's 5 o'clock. We got retest and another rejection, and it's now 5:30, okay? Price came back, rejected the area, gave me an evening star, gave me a fair value gap, and then gave me another evening star pattern. Now we're down negative 36 pips. Okay. Now after this, a lot of people want to call it a double top, right? Because it came back to this zone once, twice, technically 3 times here. We can go ahead for another short. Stop loss here above this rejection area. And we're targeting the same TP. And we just barely met a 2-to-1. Okay. But it meets the requirements. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Just a little bit more. All right. So this week, we would have lost. This would have been a losing week. Okay. We had 2 losses. We're not going to try to push this zone again because it's Wednesday. If you're not in a trade in the market by Wednesday, I don't suggest you to get in one on Thursday and Friday. So now we're down. That was 36 and 42 pips. All right, so we're no longer going to use these zones because we're done for this week. So now let's go to another week. And let's just pick another candle for another zone. Where is it? Can I exit? Hold on, I think I have to exit it. Okay. All right, so we're going to use this week. We're going to mark the high, the low, and 50% of this candle. Actually, y'all, I want to make sure it's going to play out because, like I said, this one isn't going to happen every week. A cheat sheet, right? You want to look and see if a high was already ran because we're looking for price to come back into it. So if I do this one, I look at this previous candle, I see price ran this low and then it traded up. So let's mark this one. Is it replaying to the one that I want? Okay. All right. I'll mark my low, my high, then 50% of the candle. Come down to our 15-minute. How is it giving me? Okay. What day is this? All right, this is Friday here. And we have our previous week marked. And let's play it out. Remember, first step is for price to run the high or the low. All right. Price came outside of this zone once. It came outside of this zone twice. And the last one, you remember, we really didn't have structure. Like this is giving us structure here. It's giving lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. This would be our break of structure here. Okay. Or when price gets on top of this fair value gap. And as you see, when I mark the fair value gap up, we got rejection here and rejection to the left. Okay. All right. Playing around at our zone. It's still Sunday. Now it's Monday. This is Monday London session. And then you can see price came back in the zone and it rejected from this area. So this is another reason why we kind of want to wait for it to get on top of this area to get in the trade. It's still Monday. Monday Asia session. It's Monday afternoon, not Asia session. Sorry. Monday about to close. All right, Monday Asia session. Price is back at our zone. It's coming back in, okay, which is our second confluence. And now our third confluence is get on top of this zone, okay? See, it's rejecting it again. Why I still say Monday? It's Monday midnight. That was on Tuesday already. Okay, it's Tuesday already. This has to be some type of news day when you see candles like this. All right, when you see candles like this is price letting you know that it is going in this direction because it's moving impulsively. All right, so price is about to impulsively break our zone. And most of the times it has to break it impulsively to get through it. All right. We're on top of our, well, we were on top of our zone. It's rejecting it still. It's Tuesday, 6 a.m. We got to get on top of here. It's still rejecting it. Tuesday afternoon. See how many times you'd have been faked out though? This is why trading is a waiting game. Like price looked like it was impulsively about to drop. Then it came back to this zone again. Then it dropped. Then it came back to this zone again. All right. Now we're on top of the zone. Okay. See the difference? Between these candles over here, right? This candle, it gave us a really bullish impulsive candle. And then the second candle came back and gave us an impulsive, a bearish candle, a bearish engulfing candle. And then all three of these were saying evening star. Evening star doesn't say buy, okay? And then we got over here, this candle closed on top, okay? But that second candle again closed underneath. All right. Then we came back into the fair value gap. It rejected the fair value gap once, twice. Here, I got a morning star. This bearish candle, this doji, this bullish candle. Price came up, rejected again. Rejected again. Then we got a nice bullish move away from the zone. And as you can see, my blue, this 50%, it hits like the whole time. That's where price was rejecting from. This blue line. 50% of my fair value gap, okay? So now we finally got on top of it. And this second candle didn't close underneath. It tried. That's why we got this wick. And then the buyers came in and price closed above. It came back, retested the zone again. It touched it one more time. Then buyers came back, and now our buyers are taking over. And now I can enter this long here. Stop loss beneath this last structure point here. And we're going to tighten it because it has to be a 2-to-1. And we're going to see what price is going to do. This son of a gun just came right back down. This is a strong area and tested us again. It's Tuesday. It's about to take off now. I'm trying to see what I missed right here, because why did price come back? Price came back into this fair value gap here. See that? Tested this area again, okay? So now we lost this 30, but it tested. It's letting us know this is ready to go. Only thing is with re-entering this is my risk to reward. Let's see. It has to come down here because this was my last rejection spot. The risk to reward is trash. There is, however, price created a fair value gap right here. So let's see if price pulls back right here one more time. If it does, then we can get back in this. I wonder if I could set a limit. I don't think I could set a limit. right, so if price pulls back here into this gap, then we can enter it. Price instead pull back here. So it's not going to let us in this one, but it's going to play out. Oh, there it is. It pulled back. Did y'all see that? Gave this big pushback right here to our fair value gap. It let us in. Price let us in. Let's see if our TP gets hit. And TP hit. So that was what? 4 trades? 4 trades. Down. It was 78 plus this 30. Now we're up 80. So those 3 trades, right? Those 3 trades, we were down 108 pips. This one trade brought us back 80 pips. We're still in the negative, but we're only negative 28. Okay? This is why you say you only need a 30% win rate to be profitable, because when one of those trades do hit, as you can see, it's covering 3 of your losses. All right, so that week played out. We'll have to find another week. Now, let's see. Let's go to GJ. I want to see if this one hit 50%. Okay, so I'm going to do it on this candle, right? Because this will be my previous candle. This will be the week that I've traded. I can already see that price came and ran this low, and then it came back to our 50%. Okay? Because this is just want y'all to see what you're looking for. Hold on, I gotta exit replay. Is that even the weekly? Okay, let's do it on the daily, because I showed you the monthly and the weekly is the same thing with a daily, okay? As you can see, the other day on GJ, it played out here, right? Price ran outside of this area, then came back, did 50%. So let's play this one out. And that's what I say you can use as a, no, we're back testing. You can use this as a cheat sheet, right? Just look at your monthly and be like, did this week run the high or the low? Like, nope, it didn't do it. Go to the weekly, go to the daily. If you don't see it at all on that pair, go to a different pair. There's like 50 different pairs that you can look at to catch this strategy. All right. Mark the high, the low, 50% of the candle. All right, now we're going to come down to our 15-minute. Yeah, let's play it out. Okay, I'm going to pause it real quick. As you can see, again, we have a fair value gap right here. Okay. If you have a fair value gap, close to your high or your low, just use the fair value gap as your entry. Because like we saw before, it may just reject that area several times before it lets you in. And we're on Tuesday going into Wednesday now. You're already on Wednesday with no trade. Don't rush it. I'm going to pause it real quick. See how price continues to reject this area? Fair value gaps are important. All right. I don't have any price action candlesticks here. So I honestly don't see an entry besides price closed underneath our fair value gap and then came back and retested and rejected. So let's see what happens. All right, this is this a retest here? Okay. Price trade away, came back and tested it. So now let's see what our next candle gives us. All right, our next candle broke through. That's why I said I didn't see any candlestick patterns, which is why we didn't get in. All right, now it looks like price is trying to come back and test that zone. Let's see what happens. All right, price came back up. Then it gave us a pin bar. This candle right here, the sellers completely took over. Okay. Price came underneath. It dropped. And then price traded back up. Now here, we look at our candlesticks. Our last one came all the way back into here, which is an order block. If you don't know what an order block is, there's a video on my channel. Price came back into this order block here. Hit 50% of this order block. Okay. And then this candle tried to come back up, right? And this gave us a lower high. Not really a lower high on structure, but a lower high within these candlesticks. And that lets you know that price wasn't coming any higher because it came and closed underneath this blue line here. Okay. It closed underneath it. And as you can see, is following the TP. So when price fell to make that other high, your entry should have been at this candle right here. I was trying to pause it before it even fell, but it fell. It's either play it too slow or too fast. All right. So that's basically the CRT, guys. You mark up your high, your low, your 50%. Wait for price to come out of the area. Okay. Wait for price to break your last structure point, right? Which it did. Wait for price to give you a pullback for your entry. Okay. And then study those candlestick patterns. There's a video, there's videos on my YouTube, okay? Because you want to learn how to read these candlesticks and what these candlesticks are telling you. And GJ normally gives out some pips. I guess this was a daily candle. This is a 2-to-1. It's 30 pip TP, 14 pip stop loss, okay? I like to use my weekly and monthly candles to get like the 100 pips and stuff like that. So like this week with Euro Odd. I caught this sell on Euro Odd from the monthly CRT. So as you can see, this is our current month. This is our previous month. I go through and I scan. Now, when you're scanning, you don't want price to be all the way near your TP, right? You want your candle to be still above the last body, right? You want so that you can get a good entry, okay? So I peeped that the market had ran that high, and I was like, okay, I'm going to mark my CRT up, and let's see if I can get a CRT play. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes you get these plays, sometimes you don't. If you're marking these up, though, across all of the pairs, you're guaranteed to get a good trade a week. Okay? One good trade a week, you're guaranteed. All right, so I marked my monthly up. I came down to my 1 hour. And when we got here, price had already came outside of the zone. Okay? Then it gave me this big impulsive candle closing underneath the zone and breaking my last structure point here. That took me up to my last high. Now, I noticed that there was a fair value gap here. And I also noticed that there was a fair value gap here. So I said price is either going to pull back to here or it's going to pull back to here. Preferably here, right? Because I could have got more pips. But it came back to here, right? And it started to give me my candlestick patterns. I got an evening star here. 1, 2, 3. This bullish candle, this doji candle, this bearish candle. Okay. I got another evening star here. And as you can see, the wicks on the candlesticks were getting lower and lower. All right, and where did we get in? We got in here when price came back to 50% of that evening star. All right. Now I told them, because we got caught up in this consolidation here, and you can go back to my TikToks and see the updates on this trade. If you look in this area here, right, you see all this consolidation over here. So if it happens in one area on the left, again, it's going to happen 9 times out of 10 in that area on the right. And as you can see, price consolidated a little bit before dropping. Now, remember I said find a fair value gap near price, and I gave them TP here at this fair value gap near price. I'm sorry, fair value gap near your 50%. And as you can see, there was no hesitation. It hesitated here a little bit and then came and straight dropped the TP. Okay. We still have one more day. Today's Thursday in the market. Still possibility that price can come down to 50% and even come down into this area here, right? Let's see if we got any other CRT plays. So I'm going to come to GU. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. The link is in my bio for YouTube. I'm going to come to GU and going to delete my chart. And I'm just going to come to my monthly. And I'm going to look and see, did price run the high or low of last month's candle? Yes, it did. I caught a weekly CRT move on GU last week. I caught that sell. But I didn't realize that this one had a monthly one. We caught some sales, and then I'm holding a buy right now on GU. Okay. So price ran my last month high. As you can see, this hit TP, but let's come down to the 1 hour and let's see what was our confluences for this one. Okay. So here, price came out of our zone. Okay. This was my last little structure pullback here that led me to this high. I got my break of structure. Price pulled back into this fair value gap here. Okay, because remember, you want it to look like this, right? You want price to look like this. You always want to get in on a pullback to catch continuation. So if you don't get that little hump, that little pullback, that pullback is your entry. Price came back to my fair value gap. Let's zoom into our candlestick patterns here. All right. And here, I got a bearish engulfing. Okay. It ran the low and the high. It completely engulfs that candle. Okay. And then we got our CRT. Then we got our 3 bearish candles. 1, 2, 3. All right. So I would have got in here at the bottom of that bearish engulfing. Stop loss above the candle that created the gap. And if you don't know how to identify zones, there's a video on my YouTube for that also. So stop loss above the candle that created a gap. And again, TP at 50% or a fair value gap near 50%. And as you can see, we had a fair value gap here. You could have took TP here. For 107 pips. It's a 4-to-1 TP, or you could have took TP to 50%. Okay. It's 166 pips. 166 pips. That's a great pip count. Okay. I think the monthly ones tend to play out at the beginning of the month more so. Okay, so like this happened actually on July the 1st. July the 1st to July the 2nd. Okay. Let's see. The weekly. See, I told y'all I caught the sell off the weekly. I didn't check it on the monthly. I saw on the weekly. And you can see here, price ran that high. And then came back to 50%. Okay. And I caught this one on live. And somebody was like, no, G is about to buy. And I blocked them. And now I want to do my video with a comment and be like, what I tell you. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So any other questions on the CRT? You remember Bible? And we caught that good old sale. Sorry to them and their buys. GU is going to buy eventually though, right? So if we look at this chart, right, I know it's going to buy eventually because I'm going to zoom out. GU, first of all, is bullish right now, and the dollar is bearish. And then we got this nice impulsive move right here, and then price is correcting right now. And I know that price is correcting and getting ready to change trends because price is giving me a descending channel right here. Price is making lower highs and lower lows right within this area. So right now, I'm waiting on this trend line to break. Okay. And then also, if we come over here to our daily, remember what I say when you see that rejection, right? We kind of got some hesitation in this area, and we got another fair value gap here. And this is just the break and retest move just on a higher time frame. It just kind of takes the higher the time frame, the longer it takes for it to play out. So you see we have a zone, then price broke through it. Now it's like retesting here on this area, and I'm looking for continuation. It's just when, right? When is it going to play out? All right. So now I see price is, again, if we look at these wicks, right? Price is giving me a higher low here until it breaks this wick and comes underneath this area, or retests this area, or rejects this area, then I'm still sticking to my buy bias. Okay. And this is something that you have to, like, when you focus on one pair, you start to watch price play out, and as price is playing out, because price created this price action this week, right? All of this happened this week, which is why we didn't get that full buy move. So like we sold on Monday, and then I think Wednesday we bought, and I just told them to take profits, but they caught like 50 pips. Let's say 42. They caught like 50 pips. And then we sold, or we caught this sale. And now just me and one other person is in this buy. I'm gonna wait to call this probably next week because tomorrow's Friday, and then wait for price to break this trend line. Then I wanted to see if there was anything going on the indicator, and there isn't, guys. So it's Thursday evening. I don't have any more signals for the week. Typically, if we're not in a trade by Wednesday, I don't suggest you get into a trade unless you're like scalping Nas or something like that. But we've caught all of the trades that we can catch for the week. I will be back tomorrow evening, and we'll do another live session where we'll go over the chart and then do some back testing for entries and stuff. But I think that's all we have for the week. We caught some good pips. So if y'all missing these lives in the morning time, I understand we all have to work. But, if you can sneak on during work, make you some extra money while you're at work. I am here Monday. We're going to set the schedule for Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. Okay? Don't expect you to be here Thursday, Friday on morning section. And then Monday through Friday, we'll be here at 7 p.m. And I'm on Central Standard Time, guys, okay? All right, so do y'all have a question about anything else? It doesn't have to be on CRT before we go. It can be anything else on these charts. We even caught GBP NZD. Now, GBP NZD blew me because I hate getting caught up and stuff like this. But some weeks are just like that, right? You see, previous week, it was just beautiful, bullish movement. And then some weeks, it's going to look raggedy like this. It's very much so raggedy. But we knew when to take our money. We got out just in time. So price didn't come. We got out here when price came to this trend line. And I saw it just kept rejecting it. All right, so the more you show up, the more you'll learn how to read these charts, the more you'll learn how to read these candlesticks and to read price action, okay? And then I noticed on GU that the dollar was just giving us beautiful impulse correction, right? Our uptrend. So if the dollar is giving us our uptrend, then GU should be looking like this, but the opposite, right? Let's look at GU. You see how it looks like the dollar opposite because it's going down. Okay. So I don't think I have anything else to teach y'all today. Thank y'all for joining my live. And if you have any questions or something that you want me to touch on, send me the topic in my DM and we'll talk about it on live, okay? All right, guys. You're welcome. See y'all later.